talk about storage auctions, cleanup deposits, and entry fees. There's been a lot of buzz on the web about this stuff, and people are like, I'm pissed off. I'm not going to that place anymore. Who do they think they are? Well, let me tell you who they think they are. It's their damn property. They can do whatever they want to do. It's called the law of supply and demand. There's a huge demand for entrance to storage auctions, and they're making some money. I'm not mad at them. People are like, folks kill me. It's like they want everything for free. It's like, I don't want to pay any money. Really, it's because you don't have any money. And the reason you don't have any money is because you don't take risk and you hadn't put yourself out there to build some capital. So this is the deal. There's a lot of advice about if they have a cleanup deposit or they have a buyer's premium or there's an interest fee, don't go there. Let me tell you a quick little story. And this happened a long time ago, long time ago, BC, before the shows hit cable. I was at the auction, and this place was kind of peculiar. And we go out there, and they didn't announce this before the auction. There were rooms that were going up. There was nothing that was really particular or interesting to me. So I'm moving on, and then we get to a really nice unit, and then the manager says there's a reserve on there. The opening bid on this is $500. And everything is like frickin' frackin'. Who do they think they are? Some people actually left at that point. They actually left the auction. They hit the gates, were getting out of there. And me, I just said, let me think about this. Because I'm looking at it, it's a 10 by 20. It's full from the ruler to the tutor. I was like, what? And I thought about it. Under a normal auction situation, this was going to be a $600, $700, $800, $900 room anyway. So, being the smart guy that I am, I waited to see what the crowd was going to do. Sometimes you can start bidding too early on a situation like this and screw it up for yourself. So I waited and I waited. More people left, and there was like 4 of us looking. And when I looked at the 4, they really didn't bid that much. So I just said, would you take $495? Just a joke. And she said, yes. Going once, going twice, and when I read, everybody was sleeping. There were some people who were like walking away. They were like, what? And when they thought about it, and Paul Clampett came back to me, he said, you know what? You stole that unit. This is what I'm saying. You have to do your work. You have to show up, and you have to put yourself in certain situations to develop growth. By running away from things that you deem adverse, risky, or costly, you're actually going to really increase the cost of your business education because it's going to take you longer. I got that unit for $495 because people were so pissed off that the storage facility had the audacity to put forth a policy. It's their property. It's their world. You are just a squirrel in it trying to get a nut. That's who you are. You're just a little piece of the machinery. You're not that important because, I'm not going to go. Guess what? Hootie Hoo, Pookie Nim, whatever, Mom Clampett, Paul Clampett, they're going to show up. It's called survival of the fittest. And also, going back to my original point by dealing with these facilities where they are, dealing with them on their terms, you gather something that's very important. It's called information. Part of the bitching and whining that goes on with either having a cleanup deposit, which really comes from having a bunch of newbies that don't do what they need to do. So for the cleanup deposits, look to your left, look to your right, and thank some unknown person for making that happen. As for the entry fee, that's just business. You have a hot commodity, you got people literally hanging on the gates trying to come in, and you're charging $5 and making a little extra cash. Once again, like I said, I'm not mad at them. Let that go, because honestly, if $5 is putting a wrinkle in your budget, this is not the game for you. Seriously. If you can't set aside $200, $300, $400 for cleanup deposits, this is not the game for you. If you don't have a few grand away, this is not the game for you. Sure, you can start with $10 and make some money and work your way up. But the reality is, the game has changed. And here's something that you really don't understand. I read a comment that the storage facilities are just making money off people and it just ain't fair. It's abundantly fair. And I'm going to tell you something that I know from years and years of experience. Most storage facilities absolutely hate to have auctions. It's a pain in the ass, it's costly, it's a nuisance, and if they could do it another way, they would. They don't want to sell people stuff. They don't want to be part of lawsuits. They don't want to be caught up in the mix of all this madness. They don't want to be part of that stuff. But there are many people who seem to believe that's the case. Understandably, auctions only compromise maybe 2 to 3% of their business. So, but it pulls anywhere from a good 10, maybe 20% of their resources on auction day. That's not a good mix. I wouldn't want to do it either. But that's the deal. They hate to have auctions. They hate to have them. And once you get into this business, you need to ask yourself this question. Am I a punk or am I a warrior? Because if you're a punk, stay at home, watch the shows. I'm telling you, you'll be happier. Because if you don't have a warrior mindset, if you don't have a winning mindset, you screwed from jump. Because one of the reasons I wrote the book, and I watched people come out month after month, year after year, unprepared for the rigors of this business. There's this perception, and I do bristle, and a lot of people want to debate me like, oh, it's just common sense. If it's common sense, why aren't more people making money? Because the level of bitching and whining is an all-time high. If you making money, if you bathing in the money, you rubbing the money, you bathing in dollars, you ain't bitching. So that's why I'm saying there's a lot of bitching because people aren't making money. And that's not going to change until you change this, your mentality. Stop looking for the easy way out. I've learned so much from taking the hard way. And I know we're in this internet world where everything should be quick, easy, and breezy. You know, you can make millions with little output. I don't subscribe to that philosophy. I think that the more that you put out, the more that you give to the world, the more you're going to get back. But there's going to be more than a modest effort to do so. One of the things that I talk about is to be really successful in this business is you must be on top of your information. And most people take that as having a large database of what this item's worth, what that item's worth. That's what I'm talking about. That's a part of it, but believe it, that's only that much of it. When I say be on top of your information, you need to know what's going on in your storage auction world. You need to know who the players are, what facilities are corrupt, who is slipping, when property managers are fired, when district managers change jobs. You need to be on top of all of that to be successful in this game. So that's the deal. So stop whining, stop bitching, man up. And if you're going to play this game, know there's an entry fee, and it's not free. If you want to be successful, if you want to make a lot of money doing storage auctions, you're not going to do it with a nickel. You may have to pull out a few dollars. Believe that. All right, this is Glendon. We're making money with storage unit auctions.